Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have a gift for attracting wealth, while others constantly struggle to make ends meet? The answer might surprise you. It's not about luck or being born into the right family. It's about habits, daily decisions that, over time, shape our financial destiny. Today, we're going to dive into a fascinating journey through the pages of the Bible to reveal 15 powerful habits that can propel your financial prosperity. These are not mere financial tips. They are eternal principles that have guided generations towards prosperity. Comment below, I am prosperous. Commit to your future and financial abundance. Do it now, because words have power. Now let's continue. According to a recent study from Harvard University, 80% of millionaires are first generation, meaning they didn't inherit their wealth, but built it. This demonstrates that prosperity is within reach of anyone willing to adopt the right habits. Let's start. Habit 1. Living below your means. In the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish man devours all he has. Proverbs 21 verse 20. The first and perhaps most fundamental habit is living below your means. This principle, although simple in theory, is profoundly powerful in practice. Imagine that your financial life is like a cup of water. Your income is the water that fills the cup, and your expenses are the water that leaks out through a small hole at the base. If you spend everything you earn, your financial cup will always be empty, no matter how much money you pour into it. But if you spend less than you earn, little by little, your cup will begin to fill. In 2022, a study by the Federal Reserve revealed that 32% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency with cash or savings. This illustrates how common it is to live at or beyond our means. The Bible gives us a powerful example of this principle in action, the story of Joseph in Egypt. During 7 years of abundance, Joseph advised Pharaoh to store a portion of the harvest. This decision to live below their means during prosperous years allowed Egypt not only to survive, but to thrive during the 7 years of famine that followed. Remember, living below your means doesn't mean living a life of deprivation. It's about prioritizing, distinguishing between needs and wants, and investing in your future instead of satisfying every impulse in the present. Habit 2. Diversifying your income streams. Give portions to 7. Yes to 8, for you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 2. This verse, although written thousands of years ago, perfectly encapsulates the modern principle of diversification in a financial context. This translates to having multiple sources of income. Imagine that you are a juggler in a circus. If you only have one ball in the air, your act isn't very impressive, and if you drop it, everything ends. But if you learn to juggle several balls at the same time, not only will your act be more interesting, but if you drop one, you'll still have the others in the air. With an average of 7 different income streams, this is not a coincidence. It's a deliberate strategy to build wealth and protect against economic uncertainty. The Bible gives us several examples of people who diversified their activities. The virtuous woman from Proverbs 31 who not only cared for her household, but also bought fields, planted vineyards, and sold products. Lydia in the New Testament, who was both a seller of purple cloth and a host to the apostles. Remember, diversifying doesn't mean scattering yourself. It's about creating a robust financial ecosystem that can withstand economic ups and downs. Have you ever imagined uncovering the secrets of the greatest minds in the world without any effort? It may seem incredible, but now it's a reality with our kit of 100 summarized books, which includes audiobooks and PDFs of the most valuable parts. Learning has become more accessible than ever. Don't miss this opportunity. Secure your kit by clicking on the first link in the description. Habit 3. Creating and maintaining an emergency fund. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Proverbs 22 verse 3. This verse teaches us the importance of being prepared, and in financial terms, this translates into having an emergency fund. Imagine that your financial life is like a car trip. Your income is the fuel that drives you forward. But what happens if you encounter an unexpected detour or a road closure? That's where your emergency fund comes in. It's like having a spare, an extra gas tank in the trunk. According to a Bankrate survey in 2023, Only 44% of Americans could cover a $1,000 emergency with their savings. This highlights the critical importance of this habit. The Bible gives us a powerful example of the importance of being prepared in the story of Joseph in Egypt. During 7 years of abundance, Joseph advised Pharaoh to store grain. This reserve not only saved Egypt during the 7 years of famine that followed, but also positioned the country as an economic power in the region. Start small. Even $100 in the bank can make a difference in an emergency. Set a goal. Most financial experts recommend having 3 to 6 months' worth of expenses in your emergency fund and keeping it in a separate account to avoid the temptation to spend it. Remember, your emergency fund is not for impulsive purchases or to finance a lifestyle you cannot afford. It is your financial safety net, designed to give you peace of mind and stability in times of crisis. Habit 4. Invest wisely. Precious treasures and oil are in the house of the wise, but a foolish man devours all he has. Proverbs 21, verse 20. This verse teaches us the importance not only of saving, but of growing our resources through wise investments. Imagine that your money is like a seed. If it just sits in a drawer, it will never grow. But if you plant it in fertile soil, water it, and care for it over time, it will become a tree that bears fruit year after year. A 2021 study by Fidelity revealed that 36% of millionaires attribute their wealth primarily to investments. This demonstrates the transformative power of this habit. The Bible gives us several examples of wise investment, such as the parable of the talents in Matthew 25, where the servants who invested and multiplied their master's gold were rewarded, and the virtuous woman who considers a field and with the fruit of her hands plants a vineyard. For this habit, it is essential to diversify across different types of investments. Understand the difference between stocks, bonds, real estate, and other investment vehicles. Start small. You don't need a large amount to begin investing. Many investment platforms allow you to start with just a small amount. Think long-term. The most successful investments are those held for years, even decades. Investing also involves risk, but it presents significant opportunities. Your wealth over time. Habit 6. Constantly seek wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 1 verse 7. This verse reminds us that true wisdom begins with respect for God and the humility to recognize that we always have more to learn. Imagine your mind as a garden. Wisdom is the seed you plant in it. The more you cultivate this garden, the more fertile and productive it will become over time. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Financial Planning found that people who actively seek financial education are 32% more likely to have a healthy financial situation. The Bible is full of examples of people who sought wisdom. Solomon, who asked God for wisdom above riches and honor. The wise men from the East who traveled far, following a star in search of wisdom and truth. Remember, the pursuit of wisdom is a lifelong journey. Never stop learning and growing. Habit 7. Practice generosity. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Luke 6, verse 38. This verse teaches us that generosity is not just a moral virtue, but also a principle of prosperity. Imagine your financial life as a river. If you block the flow, the water stagnates. But if you allow it to flow freely, not only will others benefit, but there will also be space for more abundance to flow in. A 2017 study published in Nature Communications discovered that acts of generosity are strongly associated with happiness and satisfaction, which can lead to greater productivity and success in life. The Bible is full of examples of generosity. The widow of Zarephath, who shared her last meal with Elijah and was blessed with unlimited provisions during the drought. Zacchaeus, who, after his encounter with Jesus, gave half of his possessions to the poor and was transformed. To apply this habit in your life, start small. Generosity doesn't always need to be monetary. You can donate your time, skills, or even a kind word. Practice tithing. Many believe in giving 10% of their income to important causes. Look for opportunities to help others, whether through volunteering or mentoring. Cultivate an abundance mindset, Believe there is enough for everyone, and that giving does not make you poorer. Remember, true generosity expects nothing in return, yet we often find that the more we give, the more we receive in unexpected ways. Habit 8. Practice financial patience. The end of a matter is better than its beginning, and patience is better than pride. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 8. This verse teaches us the value of patience and perseverance, especially when it comes to our finances. Imagine you are planting a fruit tree. You can't expect to harvest fruits the day after planting the seed. It takes time, constant care, and patience to see the results. The Bible gives us several examples of patience being rewarded. Job, who, despite losing everything, kept his faith and eventually saw his fortune restored and multiplied. Abraham, who waited patiently for God's promise of a son even in his old age. To apply this habit in your life, set long-term financial goals and stay focused on them despite the temptation of instant gratification. Ask yourself if you really need something before buying it. Save regularly. Even small amounts can grow significantly over time. When investing, adopt a long-term perspective. Don't be swayed by short-term market fluctuations. Remember, financial patience does not mean inaction. It means making wise and consistent decisions over time, trusting that you will eventually see the fruits of your discipline. Habit 8. Avoid unnecessary debt. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22 verse 7. This verse warns us about the dangers of debt and how it can limit our financial freedom. Imagine trying to run a race with a heavy backpack on your back. That backpack represents your debts. The heavier it is, the harder it will be to move toward your financial goals. According to the New York Federal Reserve's report from the fourth quarter of 2023, the average American household debt reached $2.8 trillion, including mortgages, student loans, credit cards, and auto loans. This debt burden can be a significant obstacle to financial prosperity. The Bible offers several warnings about debt. In Romans 13 verse 8, Paul says, "Let no debt remain outstanding, except the continuing debt to love one another." In Proverbs 17 verse 18, we are warned against the imprudence of being a guarantor for others. To apply this habit in your life, live within your means. Don't use credit to maintain a lifestyle you can't afford. If you have debts, create a plan to pay them off. Consider using the snowball or avalanche method to eliminate your debts. Use credit wisely. If you must use a credit card, pay the full balance every month. Before making a big purchase, ask yourself if you really need it and if you can afford it without going into debt. Remember, not all debt is bad. Good debt, such as a reasonable mortgage or a student loan, can be investments in your future. The key is to use debt wisely and in moderation. Habit 9. Work diligently. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10. This verse reminds us of the importance of diligence and hard work in all our endeavors, including our finances. Imagine that your career is like a garden. The more you care for, water, and cultivate it, the more abundant the harvest will be. Diligence in work is like constantly tending that garden. The Bible is full of examples of people who worked diligently. Joseph, who worked faithfully even as a slave and prisoner, and eventually became second in command in Egypt. Paul, who worked as a tent maker to support himself while preaching the gospel. To apply this habit in your life, give your best in every task, no matter how small it may seem. Constantly seek ways to improve your skills and knowledge in your field. Maintain a positive attitude toward work, viewing it as an opportunity to grow and contribute. Remember, diligent work not only increases your chances of financial success, but also brings you personal satisfaction and a sense of purpose. Habit 10. Practice contentment. But godliness with contentment is great gain. 1 Timothy 6 verse 6. This verse teaches us that true wealth is not measured solely in monetary terms, but also in our ability to be content with what we have. Imagine that happiness is like a glass of water. Contentment is recognizing that your glass is full, regardless of its size. Without contentment, even the largest glass will seem empty. The Bible gives us examples of contentment. Paul, who wrote in Philippians 4 verse 11 that he had learned to be content in any situation. The psalmist David, who often expressed gratitude and contentment in his psalms, even during difficult times. To apply this habit in your life, practice gratitude daily. Take time each day to be thankful for what you have. Compare your financial situation less with others and find joy in the simple things in life. Remember, contentment does not mean complacency or a lack of ambition. It means finding peace and satisfaction in your current situation while working toward your future goals. Habit 11. Plan for the future. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Proverbs 6 verses 6 to 8. This passage teaches us the importance of planning and foresight in our finances. Imagine that your financial life is like a boat trip. Without a map and a compass, your financial plan, you may drift aimlessly or crash into hidden rocks. Planning gives you direction and helps you avoid financial pitfalls. Financial dangers. A 2021 study by Charles Schwab discovered that people who have a written financial plan are 3 times more likely to achieve their financial goals than those who don't. The Bible gives us several examples of planning. Egypt, which planned for the 7 years of famine during the 7 years of abundance. Nehemiah, who carefully planned the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls. To apply this habit in your life, set clear short, medium, and long-term financial goals. Create a detailed budget and stick to it. Plan for emergencies by creating an emergency fund. Consider your retirement, even if it seems distant. The earlier you start planning, the better. Remember, a good financial plan must be flexible. Regularly review and adjust it as your circumstances and goals change. Habit 12. Be a faithful steward. Moreover, it is required in stewards that one be found faithful. 1 Corinthians 4 verse 2. This verse reminds us that we must be faithful stewards of all that has been entrusted to us, including our financial resources. Imagine you are the manager of a store. You are not the owner, but you have been entrusted with the responsibility of taking care of and growing the business. In the same way, we must view our finances as something entrusted to us to manage wisely. A 2020 study by Ramsey Solutions found that people who see their finances as a stewardship responsibility tend to make more prudent financial decisions and experience less financial stress. The Bible gives us examples of faithful stewardship. The parable of the talents in Matthew 25, where the faithful servants are rewarded for managing their master's resources well. Daniel, who faithfully managed the kingdom's affairs even under pagan kings. To apply this habit in your life, keep a detailed record of your income and expenses. Be transparent and honest in all your financial dealings. Look for opportunities to multiply the resources entrusted to you. Remember, being a good steward is not just about accumulating wealth, but about wisely using the resources you have to do good. Habit 13. Seek counsel. Listen to counsel and receive instruction, that you may be wise in your latter days. Proverbs 19 verse 20. This verse reminds us of the importance of seeking and listening to wise counsel, especially in financial matters. Imagine you are navigating through unfamiliar territory. Having an experienced guide can make the difference between getting lost and arriving safely at your destination. Similarly, seeking wise financial counsel can help you navigate the complex world of personal finances. The Bible gives us examples of the importance of seeking counsel. Solomon, considered the wisest man, still sought the advice of others. Moses followed his father-in-law Jethro's advice to delegate responsibilities. To apply this habit in your life, seek financial mentors, people who have succeeded in areas where you want to improve. Consider working with a professional financial advisor for important decisions. Read books and articles by respected financial experts. Remember, seeking counsel does not mean relinquishing your responsibility to make decisions. The goal is to gather information and perspectives to make more informed choices. Habit 14. Practice financial integrity. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. Proverbs 10 verse 9. This verse reminds us of the importance of honesty and integrity in all our dealings, including financial matters. Imagine integrity as the foundation of a building. Without it, everything you build is at risk of collapsing. Similarly, financial integrity is the foundation of a solid and trustworthy financial life. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Business Ethics found that companies with high levels of integrity tend to have better long-term financial performance. The Bible is full of examples of integrity. Job, who maintained his integrity even in the face of great loss and suffering. Daniel, who refused to compromise his principles even when it cost him his position and potentially his life. To apply this habit in your life, be honest in all your financial transactions, even in small ones. Fulfill your financial promises and commitments. Resist the temptation to take unethical shortcuts for financial gain. Be transparent in your financial dealings with others. Remember, financial integrity not only protects you, but also builds trust with others and can open doors to future opportunities. Habit 15. Keep an eternal perspective. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. Matthew 6 verses 19 to 20. This verse reminds us that while it is important to be wise with our earthly finances, we must keep an eternal perspective. Imagine your life as a suitcase for a journey. What would you pack if you knew your final destination was eternity? This perspective helps us prioritize what truly matters. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that people with a broader life perspective tend to make wiser financial decisions and experience greater life satisfaction. The Bible gives us examples of people who maintained an eternal perspective. Abraham, who lived as a stranger on earth, seeking a heavenly city. Paul, who considered all things as loss compared to the surpassing worth of knowing Christ. To apply this habit in your life, regularly evaluate your financial priorities. Are they aligned with your eternal values? Invest in things that have eternal value, such as relationships, personal growth, and service to others. Remember that you are a steward, not the owner, of your resources. Keeping an eternal perspective doesn't mean neglecting your earthly financial responsibilities. On the contrary, it helps you manage your finances in a way that honors God and benefits others. Now, I ask you, what would happen if you applied these 15 habits to your life? How could they transform your financial situation in the coming months and years? What impact could they have on your peace of mind, your relationships, and your sense of purpose? Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, patience, and perseverance to develop new habits. But each small step you take brings you closer to a life of financial prosperity and fulfillment. May these 15 biblical habits serve as a compass on your journey towards financial prosperity. May you find not only financial success, but also a life rich in purpose, generosity, and contentment. Thank you for joining us on this journey through biblical financial wisdom. Don't forget to like the video and share it with everyone you think might benefit. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? Every week we publish more valuable content to transform your life. Thank you, and see you next time.